check this out. In just a sec, I'm going to speak with a different accent. And just between you and me,
but part 8, that came from a quiet
We're just getting started. Young Jock, who used to was prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Katie Lewis. 1 minute you're watching love and hip-hop Atlanta reruns, thinking it's all scripted chaos and spicy drama, and the next minute you see young Jock in the front row, snotting, shaking, and mumbling words that no one could even understand. Wait, Jock, the same guy who laughed through cheating scandals, the man who called himself Mr. What happened? Why did Jock's tough guy persona crumble like a stale biscuit in gravy? Behind the scenes between him and Katie? Why are people claiming that his tears weren't just guilt but exposure? Trust us, the moment those tears hit the face of the earth, swag broke down in public while juggling baby mamas like mixtapes. Let's get one thing straight. Love and hip-hop has given us scandals, breakups, flying drinks, and wigs snatched mid-sentence, but nothing could have prepared fans for what happened the day Khadiyah Katie Lewis was laid to rest. The internet went crazy on the church floor. Was it grief, regret, or something deeper? Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up, we're just getting started. Young Jock, who used to juggle baby mamas and still managed to show up to the club wearing a velvet do-rag as if everything was in the front row barely holding himself together. However, at this funeral, life slapped him across the face. The man broke down so hard that church staff were searching for a mop, not for the floor, but to clean up the emotional mess this man left behind. If you're wondering why Jock, if you believe that Katie Lewis was only a supporting character in Jock's drama-filled arc, you have obviously never seen her in action. Katie wasn't just a reality star, she was a full-blown fireball in heels. After treating Katie like a side quest while playing the main plotline with multiple women, she abruptly transformed into a Shakespearean tragedy figure. So grab your popcorn. When the news broke that she had died at the age of 44, fans went into full-blown panic mode, but nothing, not even the tributes or the headlines, not even her old Savage videos going viral again, came close to the moment Young entered the funeral, saw her casket, and became the drama. She stood 10 toes down, ran her businesses, and clapped back harder than a preacher at a Sunday service. Collapsed like a folding chair from a dollar store. People assumed Jock would say something polite or even post a black and white selfie with a caption that read, "R.I.P. Queen," but instead the man sobbed and showed off his entire personality. People in the back were whispering, "Yo, who knew he had it in him?" While others weren't. They were filming because in 2025. Because behind every emotional breakdown is a backstory full of guilt games and gaslighting, and Jock was neck deep in it. Let's rewind the messy tape, shall we? Young Jock is crying for the woman he dug out on national TV. Someone check on him and remind him of what he did to her back in season 4. Because of this, the drama really starts. Fans scream at their screens as they cuddle 1 minute, and then Katie is dragging Jock for cheating with his baby mama Cena. The crazy part is that Jock acted as though it was normal for a jock to have an affair with a boss woman. However, Katie stood up for that man, defending him when everyone said she was wasting her time because she thought he would grow up and fall in love with her. He repeatedly humiliated her on camera, but here's what people didn't see. The scenes that weren't edited, the time she sobbed in her car, the moment she doubted her value, the off-camera breakdowns, the pain they didn't show, and now that she's gone, Jock has become the face of regret. Now that you remember the woman who always had your back, the tears are streaming. Convenient timing, Jock. A guest told an anonymous blog, "I've never seen Jock like that." He wasn't just crying. He looked lost, as if that he would never see her again broke him. Real convenient witnesses, by which we mean cousins with iPhones and Instagram accounts, described the scene as intensely emotional and nearly too raw for reality. People say funerals bring out the truth, and in Jock's case, it brought out the truth and the tears, which is where the whispers started. Because this is where it gets spicy, some say Jock wasn't just grieving Katie's death, but also mourning what he lost a long time ago. Jock had to be helped back to his seat by people standing 5 pews away. He sat down with his face in his hands, shaking his head as if he was trying to undo every mistake he had ever made. The question that keeps coming up is why he waited until her death to act as though he cared. Was it out of guilt or regret or a desperate PR move? Remember, this is the same man who once went viral for cheating on her. KD was the only one who truly knew him despite the breakups, scandals, and disrespect. She was the only one who saw through the TV persona, through the gaudy jokes and flexes, and still tried to love the broken version of him. While Jock wept into his sleeve, other discussions about the pressures Katie faced before she passed away and how reality TV might have affected her were taking place. KD and laughing about it, the same guy who told her, "You knew what it was," when she confronted him on live TV. Fans aren't taking the tears at face value. Some say it's real, while others say it's karma. Played a larger part in her demise than anyone anticipated, which brings us straight to the next chapter of this messy story, where Katie's last days, her social media warning signs, and the industry's chilly reaction are highlighted, because what transpired prior to the funeral may have been even more unsettling than what transpired during it. Katie Lewis's passing left fans not only shocked but also perplexed. There was no reunion episode to explain what went wrong, no confessionals, just absence and suspicion. While young Jock was crying at the funeral, the rest of the world was quietly revealing a different story, one that was much darker, heavier, and devoid of background music or commercial breaks. One by one, those close to KD started to break. Social media is full of ambiguous captions, but now every post from KD in the last few weeks reads like a warning that no one caught her. At first, it was whispers, friends, castmates, hairstylists, makeup artists, and others who said she hadn't been herself. Her laugh had become quieter, her energy had diminished, and she wasn't showing up for events. A close friend revealed anonymously that Katie texted her the night before she passed away, saying only 3 words: "Pray for me." That one detail stopped people cold because therapy implies that she was trying, reaching for help, and hanging on by a thread. She was exhausted and struggling, and most chilling of all, she had just started therapy days before she passed away. When first responders arrived, Katie's house was too quiet, without any flashing lights or chaos, save for the low wail of sirens and a few desperate phone calls. There were no paparazzi swarming her front yard, no public scene, and she had already passed by the time the news broke online. Her friend didn't think much of it, but who would celebrities post cryptic messages all the time? Late, and the questions only got louder from then on. What happened? Where was everyone? And why didn't anyone step in? Social media detectives were working nonstop, and bloggers were frantically sorting
Where
through
was
Reddit
everyone?
threads.
And
why
Some
didn't
claimed it
anyone
was an
step
accident.
in?
While
Social
others
media
whispered
detectives
about
were
mental
working
health.
nonstop,
But no one
and
was able
bloggers
to
were
verify
frantically
anything.
sorting
Where
through
was
Reddit.
everyone?
No official
And
cause of death, no family statement, just silence. And when a former member of the Love and Hip Hop crew, who wished to remain anonymous, said something that made me shudder. If you weren't crying or fighting, you weren't useful. This meant that if KD wasn't losing it on camera, she didn't have any value for the plot. So stay on the show, she had to keep the drama going even when it hurt her, especially when it hurt her. She wasn't alone, but KD might have paid the most. Leaked direct messages began to circulate that KD wasn't just another reality TV star. One of them said, "I need to breathe. I don't think I'm okay." The response was, "Let's just get through this season." Fans couldn't believe it. What season? What could be more important than her life? Where was young Jock during all of this? He was filming scenes, laughing on air and moving on, acting like Katie was just a chapter he'd already turned. But when she died, the guilt suddenly came back. She was a woman quietly unraveling behind the scenes while everyone around her pretended not to notice, because that's how the industry works. You smile on set, break down in private, and they call it entertainment. A tweet that went viral in the aftermath read, "Katie died trying to be strong. Jay cried while trying to look sorry." It hit hard because it felt like the truth that Katie's closest friends and family knew something was wrong, but they didn't know how wrong it was. I caught up with the tears that spilt from his eyes at the funeral. That wasn't just grief. That was a man being haunted by the choices he can't undo. One chilling message stood out. Katie sounded like she was already gone, even though she was still here. Her friends said she hadn't heard her genuine laugh in weeks. Another said she sounded empty on the phone. Perhaps the most unsettling moment was when someone disclosed that Katie had left a mysterious voice note the day before she passed away. It wasn't a farewell. It wasn't even emotional. It was just too quiet. The worst part was that it wasn't a dramatic ending. Rather, it was silent and invisible, as most mental health breakdowns are. Katie didn't fade and vanish before anyone noticed. The internet's outrage was intense, with fans blaming producers, the network, and even castmates. They played back old videos of Katie being made fun of, dismissed, and pushed to the brink, and they began to. One fan wrote on Twitter, "You gave her airtime, but not support. Now you give her a tribute. Keep it." Another fan wrote, "Katie was more than ratings. She was a person. She needed help, not camera angles." The production statement was as sterile as expected, with thoughts, prayers, and condolences packaged like a press release. For a while, it wasn't just about her. It was about all of them. The women who cry off camera, the men who fake smiles, and the characters who are molded for drama and discarded when the show ends. Whether on purpose or not, young Jock became the face of regret after his breakdown went viral, with clips of him wiping his face and holding back sobs as he left. A leaked message claimed that Jock texted someone close to Katie after her death, saying that she deserved better from me, from all of us. That message struck hard because it wasn't performative. It felt like a man facing a truth he can't escape. Of the service, every frame was replayed 1,000 times, and while some sympathized, others saw it differently. Now you when she needed you? Her last Instagram story featured a blank screen with the words, "I'm tired," and it was too late for Katie's followers, family, and others who spotted the signals. It seems like a eulogy that no one they were reading in real time, and perhaps that's what stings the most. At the time, everyone thought it was poetic. She died slowly and silently. The funeral is over, the flowers have withered, the hashtags have slowed down, but the questions have only gotten worse. Katie Lewis may be gone, but the chaos she left behind is still very much alive, and the truth is reality TV didn't notice this. This wasn't just a celebrity loss. It was a warning, a wake-up call, and if the industry doesn't listen now, KD won't be the last. Simply put, it ate her up, spit her out, and then had the gall to air a tribute special as if it was closure, but this is exposure. Let's face it, when Katie arrived on the set of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, she wasn't a shy, wide-eyed rookie. Rather, she was a boss who was fiery, fearless, and loud enough to ensure that no one ignored her. She didn't play parts. Instead, she played people who played her. The fans saw the memes, the vicious clapbacks, and the viral moments, but they missed the silent weeping and emotional labor that Katie carried while producers continued to yell, "More drama, more tears." Heart and hellfire was developing behind the smoke and mirrors. And that leads us to the most repulsive aspect of the entire situation. The industry anticipated this and simply didn't care. Katie had been requesting a wellness clause in her contract, according to leaked reports from former production assistants. It sounds reasonable that they rejected it, claiming that her breakdowns were more beneficial for ratings than her boundaries. One former employee shared anonymously, "We were told to push buttons. If someone was spiraling, we were." The camera didn't stop for anyone, and now that Katie is dead, they want us to think this was unexpected. The only thing that was uncertain was when it would happen, instead of just the producers, network executives, handlers, and confessional interviewers. If it became too real, they edited it out. The pain was content. Even Jock, who has by now become the story's emotional punching bag, is having difficulty navigating this fallout. Some fans think his breakdown was real, while others say it was delayed guilt. Putting out depressing graphics, changing profile pictures, and lighting virtual candles like that erases the blood on their hands. A man mourning not only the woman he lost, but also the way he treated her when she was alive. What's crazy is that Jock hasn't spoken in public since Katie passed away, with the exception of a few private messages and a heartfelt video that was quickly removed. In the video, he appeared broken, not dramatic or performative, just lost. He said, "I thought I had more time. I thought we could talk again. I never got to say I'm sorry." That line resonated because for a man who focused his entire persona on jokes and diversions, that was the public, however, weren't feeling forgiving. They dragged Jock, the show, and the system that made this all seem like just another plot twist. In the midst of all this chaos, Katie's family was shown in a single picture that her sister posted without a caption. Was the first time fans saw the real him, not Jock the rapper or Jock the cast member, just a man standing in front of the truth, raw and shaking. Because while the internet was breaking down Katie's life like an episode, her family were grieving like real people, and the real people are the ones left with the pieces. Katie wasn't just a character. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend, a fighter, and a flawed but fierce woman who tried to hold it all together while the hashtags and quotes were gone. Katie is smiling, and that silence spoke louder than anything else that anyone else had to say. Fans are rightfully incensed because this isn't just about Katie anymore. It's about every reality TV star who has been reduced to a meltdown, every cast member who has been forced to be the antagonist, the emotional mess, or the unstable one, and now that she's gone, all we have are tribute videos, viral sound bites, and the same old trauma machine pumping up for another cast member. There were times we'd film scenes just hours after panic attacks, an anonymous source said. The hashtags haven't stopped. If anything, they've evolved. Now they're hashtag protecting our stars, hashtag reality needs reform, and hashtag no more KD. Some cast members are beginning to speak up quietly and carefully because they know speaking out can cost them. Isn't just about one woman anymore. It's about a whole genre that thrives on pain and drama, but offers no healing. Make no mistake, fans are demanding change. Mental health professionals are calling for on-set therapists. Activists are demanding contracts that protect emotional well-being, and nobody cared. You either performed or you got cut. That's the reality of reality TV. Because if the industry believes this will go away, they are mistaken. Katie Lewis was more than just a trending topic. She was the last straw, the wake-up call, the unfiltered truth, and the fans are wide awake now that we saw her hurt. Executives are holding quiet meetings, crisis PR firms are being consulted, and scripts are being rewritten to add more heart. If nothing changes, another KD will already be breaking right now behind the cameras, behind the edits, behind the smile, and we're told to keep going. We saw her try, we saw her fade, and we won't let her be forgotten. Her story won't be buried beneath another season of chaos, and her name won't be reduced to a moment. Her life mattered, and her pain mattered. When that story ends, there won't be a script to fix it. This time, we demand better. This time, we remember her name, Katie Lewis. She was the one who started the fire, carried too much, and passed away too soon. Let it hurt, let it change something, or let it haunt you, because if we ignore it, we are all contributing to the issue. The next time, the funeral might be for someone else we thought was okay. Until then, remember her, and do what you can. Better yet, I'm asking you now, are you really watching this right now? Are we just going to keep scrolling past people's suffering and dismissing it as mere television? Are we going to continue to celebrate breakdowns like their award-winning performances? Or are we finally going to acknowledge that what happened to Katie Lewis wasn't a surprise, but rather a tragedy? You posted her savage moments and watched her fight. Like hell just to be heard, but when she stopped talking, no one paid attention. Reality TV is no longer merely entertainment. It's turning into a machine that consumes people and buries them in silence, and Katie is the proof. What will you do? Leave a comment, share your opinions, and start a. Do you think the show? We're not just telling stories here. We're exposing the truth that they try to hide behind the glitz and drama. Justice for Katie isn't just a hashtag, it's a movement, and this time we won't let it slip. Have you done more? Do you think her friends let her down? Do you think the industry should finally protect its stars instead of pushing them off the edge? Tell us below. Remember her name, Katie Lewis gone, and stay woke and loud while her narrative fades away. Too soon, but never forgotten.
कैलटेक्स हेवलिन के साथ ऑन करो जीत का हैवी सीन। कैलटेक्स हेवलिन के साथ ऑन करो जीत।
Nobody, was prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Lewis. 1 minute you're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reruns, prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Lewis. And the next minute you see 1 minute you're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reruns, prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Lewis. And the next minute you see 1 minute you're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reruns, prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Lewis. And the next minute you see 1 minute you're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reruns, prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Lewis. And the next minute you 1 minute you're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reruns, prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Lewis. And the next minute you 1 minute you're watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reruns, prepared for what transpired at the funeral of Khadiyah Lewis. And the next minute you 1 minute you're watching Love. Wig snatched mid-sentence, but nothing. Next minute you 1 minute you're watching Love. Wig snatched. The internet went crazy on the church floor. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying gogoodbye, it was a final reckoning. As if everything was. Buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. Or perhaps the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, final reckoning. Oh, buckle up. While others weren't, they were filming because that Jock acted as though it was normal for a jock to have an affair with a boss woman. However, Katie stood up for that man, defending him when everyone said she was wasting her time. Acted as though it was normal for a jock to have an affair with a boss woman. However, Katie stood up for that man, defending him when everyone said she was wasting her time. As though it was normal for a jock to have an affair with a boss woman. However, Katie stood up for that man, defending him when everyone said she was 1 minute you acted as though it was normal for a jock to have an affair with a boss woman. However, Katie stood up for that man, defending him when everyone said she was 1 minute you acted as though it was normal for a jock. Words that no one could even understand.
Check this out. In just a sec, I'm going to speak with a different accent. And just between you and me,